Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Here we go. Mexico versus US. The last qualifier, I would say, like the last good qualifier, right? Like we can talk about that, how it might be last one, but we'll
see how good it is.
Joanna saying hello, saying excited to finally be back catching the stream again live. Yes. Chivas del Norte here to talk about Beltran being snubbed from the national team. Saludos, Alex B. All right. Here we go. Amy in Dallas, Texas, who, we'll get into it and why she's in Dallas a little bit. Cesar and San Diego. Already getting into Wiso telling us about the Spirit experience.
I'm curious about that too, man.
Yes, let's talk about it. So we back, Cool Mexican 48. Let's do this. All right. How are you guys feeling? How are you?
You told me that you were going to have everything taken care of for the show, yet the private chat says otherwise. So I'm fine, all things considered. But honestly, I'm going to let you get away with it because you had a terrible experience.
No, you didn't let me get away with it. You just said it right now. So it's not letting me get away with it.
Well, you did say.
Let's prepare for the Chicken Biscuit said, let's prepare for the pain. Cesar, who is always on the sideline when Amy and I start arguing about
it's fun. It's like my parents arguing, you know? Like you just don't know when to don't know when to step in.
I didn't like that comparison. Love it. We're supposed to be breaking generational trauma, not reinforcing it.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, a lot of people joining. Cool. Yeah, let's jump right in. So first of all, for anybody, this show is not endorsed by Spirit ever. Ever. Even if they came on this show and said, guys, we got you all, everything you got,
all game tickets will
all games, I will get you to your destination. No, like this is Spirit, don't ever fly that airline. Amy and I are doing a project in Dallas and with some student athletes, and we're doing some critical videos and telling their stories. We're all set to go, and I book a plane on Sunday night to Dallas. There's nothing else coming from Phoenix, like outside of that, and I see Spirit, and I'm like, all right, all I have to do is that our call times with the productions at 10 a.m. the next day. I'm good. Read my thread. It went horrendous. It's 7-hour layover. They got me in the plane. We're ready to go. And then they cut us out. Everything got canceled. And I didn't get to go to Dallas. So Amy's in Dallas right now. She is a boss. She's taking care of everything and doing the job of 3 people at least. So Amy, thank you for being there.
I would really appreciate it if you had just taken care of the one thing that you were going to do.
Yeah, so I was supposed to take care of some stuff here. So sorry if this Mexican soccer show is a little bit it's not as prepared. But here we are. Let's talk about.
There's one listener who definitely is in the higher up, like within Spirit.
Doesn't know.
And then he just he or she is just heartbroken right now. I'm like, oh man, Spirit. Just absolutely one person.
All right. So okay, Mexico versus US is finally here. I was getting prepared and I wanted to put a cool little production thing, but they didn't let me do it. I wanted to have
it serves no purpose. Says it being nice about
it was like a cool little song, we were gonna come in really listen to the sound.
We had questions about what is this.
Imagine Mexico versus US at the Azteca for the World Cup. Oh, she took it off.
No.
thought it would be cool, but then the imagery looks like a kid in a bullet hole, and it just
it's not the best imagery right now. So we shouldn't be sharing stuff like that right now.
So we got shut down by that. So anyway, all right, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Mexico versus the U.S. Does it feel like that's like I feel like there's something missing in the air? I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is like the biggest game of the qualifiers. Is it me? Is it because I haven't slept the whole night?
It's definitely. I mean, I think there's
like,
a lot.
You're already feeling it, Cesar?
You already did a pod, so that could also be.
Oh, that's true.
No, it's not shade. I'm just saying you kind of already talked about it, so maybe it's.
No, but that was with the U.S. soccer guys. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, all right, it's Thursday. It's a long way from here. Or usually the week of. I don't know. Something about in the air.
I think right now it's just it's a little tough because Mexico and the United States are both in good positions, and even though
good positions,
what 21?
We can go to the repechaje.
No, 21 points is decent.
The U.S. could be out of the World Cup.
We'll dive into. We'll dive into some of the numbers later. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll dive into some of the numbers later. Don't worry. But decent. Let's put them at decent. Let's say in a decent position. And I think for Mexico, and okay, so there's two things, and once again we'll dive into this later. One, Mexico, they know that even if they lose this game, which obviously would be historic, that being the most Aztecazos of Aztecazos, even if they're to lose this game, they still have two opponents which they, in theory, should be able to defeat. And the U.S., probably, if you think about as much as I, as a media person, should be hyping up this game, blah, 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 and it is going to be a huge game. There's a number of reasons why it's going to be a huge game. But you can make the argument that the most important games for them in this window isn't against Mexico, it's against Costa Rica and Panama. So I can kind of see why it feels that way, but it is still important for a number of reasons. Like, for example, and we've talked about on this podcast just how this is it feels like kind of like the end of an era of these World Cup qualifiers at the Azteca, because obviously Mexico and United States don't have to qualify for the next World Cup, and who knows what World Cup qualifying is going to look like after that. So the stakes that usually are put on these kinds of games, like it's going to kind of diminish or just be absolutely gone kind of going forward. So it does kind of feel like the end of an era, which for me personally, I don't know, I do feel like it is going to be a big game. And obviously, and obviously, just like regardless of what I just said there, we can, like I said, we can crunch the numbers later, but whoever wins this game, and depending on other factors, their World Cup, like the odds of them qualifying for the World Cup just skyrocket. Whoever wins this, it's not going to guarantee them, based off this result alone, a spot in the World Cup, but it will help them significantly. Just that there's no denying that.
Amy, how are you feeling about this game?
I already established my place when it comes to these World Cup qualifiers. Okay, I'm very lukewarm in that sense. I'm not, and I would never wish for failure at all. I'm not that kind of confused Mexico club over country person, if you will. But I'm just kind of like, let's just qualify at this point. Let's just go ahead and take care of it. I will say I'm not traveling to this game because I don't want my first time at the Azteca to potentially be a loss. Do I want them to lose? No. But
are you saying it's going to happen, Amy?
No, but we can't be like in denial about it, or we can't be unrealistic about potential things happening.
Yeah.
So
that's fair. That's fair. The U.S. do have a lot of injuries.
You're not going to game because you might lose.
I just don't want it would be my first game at the Azteca, and I don't want it to be a loss.
Wait, you've been at the Azteca, haven't you?
Never. No.
Oh, okay.
She's
not.
Well, actually, this will potentially be my first game at the Azteca, but
that's right, you're going.
Cesar's going to the Azteca.
Well, hold on. It's like one. Have you guys ever feel like with like certain plans that
it's like
not at all.
No, but like certain plans, it's just like you feel like you can't confirm it until you actually show up there, and like yeah. So I'm not. I feel like there are several things that can go wrong. So
Reaching to the choir, Cesar.
yeah. So yeah, but in theory, I should be there, assuming all the things work.
Cool.
But yeah.
Are you flying spirit, Cesar?
Are you flying spirit?
No, I don't Mexico
flying-
from.
are you
I don't
flying
Mexico
Speedy
from Tijuana. So
Are you flying Espiritu?
Espiritu.
All right, because I'm there in spirit. I'm there in
But you won't.
spirit, Amy.
You won't be. But it's like you won't be there in spirit.
Apparently, not even spirit can help you.
All right, let's talk about the first season that came out. Here we go, Los Convocados. You kind of can't really see a lot of it, but a lot of people. This came out on Thursday night at midnight. Because
no, they gave us at a good time this time.
Okay, it came out at 8 p.m.
Did it come out at 8 p.m.?
It came out at night. It came out between the game. What game we were watching?
It was
late.
It was the Leon game, wasn't it?
No. Hold on.
It was late afternoon, and I felt like a fool for waking up early that day.
Because Cesar had just made a joke about how it was going to come out at 1:30 a.m.
It came out, I think, during the Leon game.
I think it was 6. I want to say 6 or 7 p.m. Mexico time.
Yeah, all I know is that Leon got scored on, and then Federation's like, let's just put it now. No one's gonna be watching this game. so the convocatoria again for keepers, which now, right? Okay, first of all, everybody's freaking out for keepers. Where's Acevedo? Blah 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 blah. Now we can confirm Acevedo's on his way. He probably already got there because Jonathan Orozco got injured. So now Acevedo will be there. Right.
Yeah.
The second reason why people freaking out was in the midfield, Mr. Rodolfo Pizarro. What the heck was he doing there? It looks like Tata, has his, I don't know, his love for Pizarro is interesting.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say that like I would have made the same decision, but I think that like in a crucial World Cup qualifier like run, I think what Tata was thinking is like Pizarro can play in the left wing, he could play in the midfield, and he understands the system, And I think there's got to be. I mean, the guy's probably not like as much as people want to say like online. He's clearly not a dummy. So like I think he was just thinking, all right, bring that guy into the system as opposed to bringing someone else in who potentially doesn't understand the system Tata wants to bring in. But
like in recent times, what does he have to prove that he would be a good asset to the roster?
But okay. So you have to figure out that
he scored after the fact, if I remember correctly, or like he's like I think he had scored for Rayados like that same.
I think either way, he's not a part of the picture anymore, though. So like he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, he's not.
because of injury. Yeah,
he's not because of injury. But okay, so Tata's trying to put together a team that knows his system, right? And regardless of we want this player that has never played with the national team or against a qualifier against the U.S. to do something. We're putting Julian Araujo, Arteaga, which I totally get. Gallardo, Chaka's not in the system. But then you get towards the middle. I think
yes, Martin. He's already been replaced. He replaced.
Yeah. He did get
replaced. We're talking about what originally Tata had intended for his roster to look like.
And if you look at all the positions, who else? I mean, outside of Gallardo, is there some that has the experience that Tata needs for him to have in a World Cup qualifier against the U.S. in the very, very important game, right? This is why I think Gallardo is going to start. Like Arteaga, right? And sure, he's gotten the nod in a starting position, but again, these are different types of games. So I think for Tata to put in even Pizarro to have that midfield is someone that he's counted on and knows the system rather well, and it has worked when Pizarro was good. I mean, but that was 2019 in the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like
2 games.
No.
I mean, he had a really great game in the final. I'll give him that because I was a hater that entire tournament. But
it is interesting with this. So really quickly, yeah. So it's a 29-man roster from Mexico was released last week. I thought what was curious from it was that so due to injuries, Guardado, Funes Mori, Gata Dominguez, and Osvaldo Rodriguez all had injury issues, so I think that's the reason why they were left out. Interestingly enough, Orbelin Pineda and Shaka Rodriguez was left out. Were left out, and I hadn't seen anything regarding injury issues for them.
No, Orbelin is not playing.
Yeah, exactly. And then the players who weren't involved in the last World Cup qualifying picture who were brought in were Santi Jimenez, that was Pizarro before he was dropped, Eric Aguirre, Jesus Alberto Angulo, and Israel Reyes. And then, like we said earlier today, FF confirmed the injuries for Pizarro and Jonathan Orozco, and now Acevedo and Roberto Alvarado are being brought in. So I think that's a decent amount of depth. I don't know why I said it like that. For all three, I imagine they'll probably play their best 11 against the US and then see how things go in the last two games, because I think that the task is, I don't know, it's much greater in that first game than the last two games. But I don't know. I think Mexico should be fine here. I think that they should be able to not only get the win against the US, but I don't know, it could potentially lead to a spot in the World Cup too. But that depends on other results.
And I again, we're all, every time a coach has a list, there's going to be names that the coach only understands why they're there, and we're all just going to speculate over there. It was surprising to have Pizarro on there, but again, Pizarro, looking at that creative midfield, he's looking for that place. Herrera gets subbed off. Who's that player that can create, right? And Pizarro has done that. Guardado. Guardado's not there, and that's the player that Pizarro's essentially replacing, right? In that kind of going forward. So I think if Guardado would have been there, I don't think Pizarro would have made the. And this is why you kind of bring in Piojo Alvarado, right? It's like you're bringing that player kind of going forward. So I understand player by player, because if you take out, why bring Pizarro? And people are like, why not bring in Marcelo Flores? It's just like, okay, hold on. What I kind of didn't understand, I think people were talking about it too, is Orbelin Pineda, who has been...
That was confusing. That was a little... I mean, I know he hasn't gotten a lot of minutes, and I still think that Orbelin, in theory, he should be the number 2 option at left wing if Chucky is unavailable. I think just because of... I mean, I know he doesn't have the same pace or kind of like this explosiveness as like Chucky, but like his creativity and his passing... I feel like he should be involved in the picture, and I imagine he'll be the kind of player who will go to the World Cup. But I do wonder in this specific situation if Tata was just thinking, you know what, you aren't getting a lot of minutes. Sorry, if you aren't getting a lot of minutes, you're still in the national team picture, but you're just not involved right now.
Well, that's So my question was, okay, Orbelin didn't get
and
it,
and that's why initially why Pizarro was in the picture. And like,
yeah. And then at the same time, I'm like, okay, Orbelin didn't get any minutes, but yet Diego Lainez got called. Who's not getting? Although he is getting a little bit more minutes, but
Lainez is huge. Lainez is huge in those World Cup in off the bench recently.
Yeah,
so Lainez
off
is
the
good.
bench against the US. I think we've seen what he can do, and he's hungry. So I don't think it's a terrible lineup. If anybody says, "Oh my God, we should be enough to beat the US," just like you said, but again, it goes with Tata's personal choice. Hey, he did bring in Santi Jimenez, sure, because of Funes Mori.
He did leave out Chaka.
Yeah, he did leave out Chaka. So it's
which, by the way, got me insane numbers on TikTok. I just want to thank everybody.
Watch Amy's TikTok. So sure. But now we get into, okay, is it going to be the same old that are going to be playing in the Azteca? The only thing that I'm looking at, and I said this, and I've been saying this before, is that in this World Cup qualifiers, I don't think that I think finally our players are playing, are getting minutes in Europe, the European players, or are good, they're doing well right now in their clubs, right? If you're looking at Tecatito and what he's doing with Sevilla, probably is the best Tecatito we've seen in a long time. Yeah. Hector Herrera, what he did in the Champions League, which many of you have said that they didn't want Hector Herrera anymore, but everybody just shut up after this.
You're just looking to fight everybody.
I'm just saying, they're like, Hector Herrera should not be.
That's a good point though, because like the thing was like Ache is just like, say what you will about him going to MLS, but guess what? Right before going into these World Cup qualifiers, he's been a starter for Atleti.
Yeah.
And like I think that's been crucial. So yeah, no,
it's true. And everyone thought for some reason, I even tweeted out that Hector Herrera was going to miss the next game because we had two yellow cards, and I think
was that true? Was that
huh?
true though about the yellow cards?
No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
He's only had one card,
and then just kept going.
I think one
Bridger.
of the networks said it, and then everybody ran with it, and then he did get a yellow card, and then it was like, oh, I think it was like a pre-show, like, hey, here's who has yellow cards, this, and everybody wrote it down. Then I think other journalists wrote it, and then as soon as he got that yellow, people tweeted out he misses, and then it just kind of kept in our mind, and then we realized that he's not, that he should be playing. So Hector Herrera is going to be playing. So yeah, overall, I believe that we should have enough. Our players are playing well. The important players, not saying anyone else is not important, but that's there. I know there's some talk why wasn't Alan Mozo there, and however many assists, I think he's got like 7 assists in 10 games, and he's a very, very forward player. I've seen, for example, I know Martin de Palacio talked a little bit about on some of his on his stories how maybe Tata does not like players that are not defensive, especially against the US.
Yeah.
And you have, for example, as a León fan, Fernando, I would have thought he would have been going to the national team, but he's he moves way too much forward.
Yeah, with Alan Mozo,
that's kind of like Alan Mozo.
Yeah, I think I mean, there's one thing to be like personally, I'd be like, it's easy for me to say, I'd be like, yeah, I've seen Alan most of the season, and I would include him in my national team picture. But I'm also not the manager of the national team. I don't know what, I guess the best way of putting it is just like the vibes are like within the squad, and what it would be like to bring in this player who hasn't been involved in a while. Because the thing is, like, outside of what I think it was just he was part of the preliminary Gold Cup squad. You'd be bringing in this new player, and maybe that changed things up a bit. Maybe that alters things a bit for the national team. Like I said, personally, I would bring him into the consideration, but I don't know what's happening behind the scenes with Alan Mozo.
Great player. Also has made mistakes, especially defensive mistakes. So maybe that's where he's judging him. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be, there's friendlies that are coming up. Santi Jimenez, I think he's going to be great. I sent you guys a message. I love Raul Jimenez, but for some reason, starting Santi Jimenez would kind of be like, what the heck? And just, I feel like it'd confuse people. And then having Raul come in like a super sub, even though I'm wearing his shirt, I just feel like it'd be kind of crazy. Santi is doing well, and that young drive, coming in. It's kind of like what the U.S. did at the Gold Cup final, right? Everyone's like, but yeah, overall, I think we should be fine. And with all the rosters that come out, there's always going to be somebody that has problems. So we'll see it. Yeah. U.S. roster. Obviously coming out, notable misses. So here we go. This is where we kind of look at the U.S. and go, all right, the number one player who has scored, who has done dangers, who we've seen, probably one of the best players in CONCACAF, McKennie's out, right? Regardless if you don't like Dest, and he's whatever. Dest is an important player, out.
I have a question. How does one do danger?
He's dangerous. He scored on like headers. He's very, very dangerous.
He does the danger. Okay. I'm coining that term now.
In like a soccer sense, maybe off the field.
Doing the danger.
It's dangerous player, but
no, what you said.
And then what you said, Cesar, where the U.S. and what I'm seeing, maybe not bringing all their guns and trying to win the game at the Azteca because the Panama game is way more important for them.
Yeah, I do wonder about that because I was gonna say, just like, okay, so there's still Matt Turner has issues, Chris Richards has issues, Brendan Aronson earlier today has issues. Yeah. So it's like if I was Greg Berhalter, and if I recognize like how important the last 2 games are, do I? Because I think on any other night, if I was U.S. men's national team, I had all the players available like to me, I think I would definitely go for a win. But in this situation, with the injuries and with the situation regarding where the last 2 games are arguably more important, maybe you just tell your players to bunker down and go for a draw here. I would not be surprised at all. Anyway.
And that's how they win.
But I think when you consider where the U.S. men's national team are at now and where Mexico are at now, I think if this was like a month from now, like 2 months from like beforehand, I wouldn't have been surprised if the U.S. pushed for a win here. But I think that they're definitely bunkered down in this one.
I think they'd just be safe. I don't know. I mean, the U.S. always plays very defensively, and that's how it is. It's just it's how it's worked. Look at the Gold Cup. How many shots?
Yeah.
it's in so I feel like if they try to do that, yeah. So I
think regardless, I wouldn't be surprised, like who is available, whatever they want. But like I think regardless, they are gonna. I would assume they're gonna try to like be a little bit more defensive in this game, and getting a point would be a success, and then they can focus on those last two games. So I think if I was Tata, I would anticipate them bunkering down and just trying to put a lot of attacking names out there in this potential starting 11.
Here we go. Why can't we just have Jay Carrasco's, vibe? Nos vamos al mundial. Sí se puede, carajo. It's not. We lose the next 3 games, and the people who are on the right, win the next 3 games, and we're out of the World Cup. Like, it still can happen.
Yeah.
Nobody's assured of the game. We'll look at the points a little bit later, but I don't know. Amy, to you, this game's important. I think the U.S. will come out. I think we can still lose this game. We shouldn't take it seriously, but there is a little bit of an advantage, at least because those players aren't there, because the U.S. has to focus on that Panama game that's at home. And obviously it's the Azteca. I believe the official number is 40,000 fans that are going to be there. So it's still going to be a lot of fans.
Was there a question? What are we alluding to? I agree with everything you just said. This is a very bad podcast.
I was just saying, is there...
Actually, I'm going to go back to a comment that's on here from our good friend Giovanna, who says, who was playing well? Antuna. And I also want to point this out. The podcast that you were on, Wiso, one of the co-hosts on that said Antuna could be a secret weapon to be used. I think it's a little bit hyperbolic in that sense, but he has been playing well. But
Antuna's great. I'm curious to hear what we saw. I didn't listen to the podcast, but I think like Antuna's been in a fantastic run of form. I think like Antuna, he doesn't provide the creativity of a
exactly. Like, Cruz Azul figured that out. Cruz Azul said, "Nah, do you, bro? Don't try to do any more than you can do," and it's working out for him. I think
he would be a fantastic player off the bench. He would be my number 2 on the right wing for Mexico. It's like. Like you have the Tecatito kind of like creativity things and maybe things that exactly work out with him. What?
Go from Tecatito to Antuna.
That's okay. I think that's okay. The thing is, like, I'm saying Tecatito is a starter. You have his creativity. Tecatito, like, he's like very like he's a mercurial player. He does all like the fancy moves, and he would definitely be my starter. But then off the bench, bring in Antuna, and he has a lot of pace. I don't know. I would bring it on Antuna.
It's actually crazy.
Antuna in for Chucky?
Huh?
Can you bring Antuna in for Chucky?
Well, I would say Chucky's on the left-hand side, and then Tecatito's the right-hand side. And I would say that Antuna would be a good option off the bench
I was thinking
on the right wing.
I was thinking of Tecatito on the left for Sevilla. We could play Sevilla.
Yeah.
But they both can kind of play on that side. So.
Yeah.
Even when, what did it say? Even when someone takes their microwave
comparisons. No, he's not comparing them. He's just doing like 4D chess is what he's doing. Okay, he's like
I'm obviously clearly starting Tecatito in my starting 11.
Absolute.
Clearly, I'm starting Tecatito. I'm just saying Antuna's off the bench for the second half. That's all I'm saying.
Can you imagine like going toe to toe with Tecatito for 45 minutes, and then here comes the killer Antuna.
Antuna has more goals.
If he scores,
but
if he comes on, he scores.
Antuna has more goals.
Yeah, but those are like Gold Cup goals against like Martinique.
Oh, well, where was it? Where was Tecatito then scoring?
Probably trying to get some sort of deal for an extension with Porto, and then I don't know.
All I'm saying is that this is Tecatito needs to step up. This is it. He did score against the U.S. that their very first 2 minutes in the Nations League. Even when Antuna wasn't playing well at club low, he seemed to show up during national team games.
Granted, it was against Cuba, but
it was gold.
And lower.
Right, cool. Let's talk about starting 11 against the U.S.
I'm out.
What would that field in the starting 11? Obviously, you get Ochoa.
Yeah.
Here's the defense. It's kind of. I feel like this is really, really tough. I think he's gonna go with Gallardo. That's like my only.
Yeah, I think he's putting some trust. I wouldn't be surprised if Araujo was starting on the as a right back situation, or even if it wasn't Araujo, the next best option would be Jorge Sanchez. So because there's a little bit of risk there, I think he's going to go with his more safe.
If it's not Jorge Sanchez, who's it going to be?
Araujo, Julian Araujo on the right hand side. So I think because
Which Amy, let's go to Amy with how do you feel about Julian Araujo? How's he been playing? Because I feel like
I would have been in a much better place 2 games ago. These past 2 games have just not been. I saw him live on Saturday. Was it Saturday? And I mean, I hope us, the switch flips or something, but it's just not been the best.
And that's what I'm saying with all these players, like, oh, Arteaga's doing really well. Oh, Julian Araujo's doing well. Mozo. Guys, these guys make mistakes, like, in their club, and they have been. For example, Julian Araujo, which
it's been a good run for him.
Against Seattle,
he was a PK. He scored an own goal. Like, it's been a bad 2 weeks.
Own goal was last season. Don't bring that up. That's old news. But
no, I'm just saying. Do you bring him in and you start him against?
No, but I'm saying that own goal is unfair because when he came on for national team duty, I think after the fact, he actually had a pretty decent performance for the national team. Now, though, it's different. You're preparing for a crucial game against the U.S. You can't afford to make mistakes like that. Again, maybe it'll be different when he goes to the national team, and maybe those mental hurdles won't exist now that he's in camp. But he did have a few mistakes these past 2 games that you look at them from a national team lens, and you're like, for all the hype that we were giving him, and for replacing Shaka and all that stuff, this isn't what you want to see for a player that you were hoping to make a a difference.
I don't see Jorge Sanchez being that bad of a player. Like, I think he can get the job done.
I don't know. I think that the issue with Jorge Sanchez is that we all gave him kind of like this high ceiling, and he hasn't lived up to it, and he's kind of
didn't he stop in the game against Canada? Wasn't he raving about?
I think I think we expect a lot more from him. We really expect a lot more from him. Yeah.
I thought I remember that he did really, really well.
I think
let's
either
say
way,
Jorge Sanchez, Gallardo on the sides. Then in the middle, here's where I have some questions, and I feel like Nestor Araujo, who's been playing, Moreno, who Tata has, and there's that leadership that's there. I don't know, Moreno Araujo, which is what we expected to go through all this, but obviously injuries. Montes is in there. As much as we want Johan, Tata sent Johan to the bench I mean, not to the bench, to the stands. So I don't necessarily see Johan put in a start against the U.S. first time in a World Cup qualifier.
I'll be very surprised if he were to do that.
I think it's going to be Araujo Moreno.
Yeah, I think what would be interesting too is we'll see what the situation was with Araujo. He did have a slight injury issue over the weekend with Celta Vigo. It didn't seem like a serious one. He did have a slight injury issue. So I think it would be Moreno Araujo. But if it's not Moreno Araujo, I think it'd be Moreno Montes.
They both the same foot.
Which is
that's where I think.
Man, I think the thing is like, but then I think could it potentially be Moreno Vazquez? But then at the same time, like you said, like I would be pretty surprised. I'd be very surprised if he were to give a chance to Vazquez in this game. I think he was a chance of Vazquez.
Moreno and Montes have played together for that same reason because they're both left-footed. So I think if Araujo's out, that maybe could potentially have Johan in there, and it's Johan Moreno.
Yeah, I mean I would welcome that. I think that'd be really cool. But I can't. Yeah.
We'll see those four. So it's just see what what the center backs are. And in the mid, in the mid, obviously Edson Alvarez wasn't going anywhere. In the minute I said that, he didn't start the last game. But Edson Alvarez and then Charlie Herrera. There's no question he's going to go with Charlie.
Yeah, especially since Charlie Rodriguez has really worked his way into a starting spot with Mexico, and it seems like I don't know. It's interesting just that it seems like Edson, Achiachi are kind of guaranteed starting players, but I know Guardado is injured, so he's not available in this current window. But it seems like going forward, Guardado no longer has a guaranteed starting spot for all three, regardless of the fact that he's the captain. I think that part of that has been how good Charlie Rodriguez has been for club and country. So I think the two will go there. Although I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Tata is looking for a little bit more mobility in that midfield. Maybe there's a chance You have Edson as a defensive midfielder, and then you have Gutierrez and then Charlie as like basically two kind of like tens in a weird way.
Herrera's gonna start.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I think Acha is going to start there with Charlie, but I wouldn't be surprised if Eric Gutierrez got the start too.
No, I'd be really surprised if Herrera is not in the starting lineup. So somewhere in there, and then up top, how the question is,
it's the Tridente, right? It's got to be the Tridente.
No. But hold on. Is Chucky Lozano 100%? He just came back from injury and only played he's only been back 1 week.
He's getting minutes though. He's getting minutes, though.
Yeah, he's getting minutes, but is he full 100%?
I mean, do you start him and then sub him off, or do you try to sub him on later?
I just feel like if he's not 100%, I think we have players that can play.
So don't play him at all.
Exciting if he's not 100%. No, but you look at what Pulisic did.
Game or just through?
Huh?
Like for
just
this
game? See how it is. I mean, if he's 100%, play 100%, but he's not 100%. Coming as a sub, bring in. There's a combination of great players that can play there. Yeah, we've seen what Alexis Vega can do. And Demet.
I think if Chucky is available for minutes, like I said, who knows what Tata's going to end up doing. But I think if Chucky is available for minutes, give him the start. Give him 45 minutes just because the U.S. men's national team they're gonna bunker down. Like I assume that they're gonna bunker down and play defensive in this game, and then maybe one of the first subs you make if it's not working, if Chucky's not looking entirely fit or healthy, then you bring off Vega off the bench.
If you know he's not, I don't think coaches do that. I know if you're not fit, we're only gonna give you a half. I feel like if you're not fit, look, there's players that can do, especially in this game. Didn't Pulisic not play against Mexico in the qualifier and came in as a sub because he wasn't 100%? Yeah, and then he scored. Imagine when Pulisic came in, it changed the game.
You'll be curious to see what happens there because
because you're saying not play him at all, but you're saying
no. Yeah, if come in, don't start.
But if he's not 100%, do you still sub him on?
Yeah, because even like an 80%. But he's not going to start. I'm saying he shouldn't start. If he's not 100%, you shouldn't start, right? If then it's needed, if it's 0-0 and 45 minutes have gone by, all right, Chucky can go for at least 45 minutes. Let's get him in there. But
I think it'll be curious either way to see what happens on that left wing, whether it be Chucky starting, but also Alexis Vega has been, he's been
Alexis Vega.
And I think that's why someone like Alexis Vega was almost like, I'm not gonna say that he's almost going to be a lock for the World Cup roster, but if you don't have more players stepping up behind Raul Jimenez, you have someone like Vega who could play as on the left wing, obviously with all three for the most part, but also essentially as like a false 9 for all three too. So I think he'll have a good opportunity here, especially with Pizarro too, who could have potentially gotten a chance.
Yeah, he's in. Oh, he's completely in. Someone that's out. I mean, where's Cordova? So I mean.
Yeah, he didn't get called up. Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I expect that if Chucky's there 100%, the Tridente that we have still not seen do wonders.4 this is the game. All I know is it's Mexico versus the U.S. If Mexico loses this game, it's 4 losses against the U.S. in less than a year. Or no, a year and a half. It's not like we're not going to the World Cup, but huge loss in the Aztecaso. And for me, Tata's not the right person. That's it.
Wait, you'd fire him after the game?
I would.
Really? No, you can't do that. You can't
I would. I'd be like, sorry, turn in your resignation.
Who do you bring on?
Huh?
Who do you bring?
Anybody else. It's not working with Tata.
No, it can't be anybody else.
Who wants to come in?
You have to give him the window. You have to give him the full window.
No, there is no window. No, if he loses on Thursday, you fire him on Friday. We'll bring in somebody. Huh?
Does the scoreline matter in any shape, way, or form? What's if it's a 1-0 loss?
No. Felt 1-0 on the 94th minute. You couldn't get it done against the U.S. at home in a World Cup qualifier where the U.S. doesn't have their best player, where they're not even giving 100%. No, it's over.
If there was a coach who could handle that kind of pressure to have Mexico qualify for the World Cup, I mean, I know that the things are looking good for them. I know that their next opponents are looking like pretty straightforward. But I'm not entirely sure if I'd feel more comfortable giving that kind of responsibility to another manager who would coach Mexico in those last 2 games, as opposed to giving those opportunities to Tata.
Bring in Piojo for the last 2 games. Bring in, for the last 2 games.
No.
I've seen the
I don't
Federation do
know.
it.
Though,
Huh?
what if
What do you mean they can do that? Like all of a sudden something happens to Tata, right? Or they can bring in anybody
how many days are between?
Is it that kind of premeditated?
It doesn't matter. It's that bad. It's that bad. Yes.
No, it's
Fire
not.
on Friday.
Okay, wait. How about? Okay, I mean, this also seems ridiculous too. To say this, and I don't agree with any of this, but say Mexico loses to the U.S. and then in their last 2 games, whatever the results are. No, wait, hold on. Let Mexico loses to the U.S. Whatever the results are in the next 2 games, they find a spot to the World Cup. Would you still drop Tata and then bring in a new coach? Because maybe
you dropped Tata. So he stays for the window, but they lost to the U.S. So you drop him
after they won. Yes.
I'm just
He's
trying
not the right person.
Just trying to fulfill Wiso's desires.
Anybody on the chat right now disagree that if we lose against the US, you drop Tata? If it's Friday or if it's
regardless of what the results are for the other 2 games.
Yes. Even if we win the other 2 games.
I don't know.
He's not ready to put in the pressure. Like, this is the pressure game.
Tata ain't it.
Yes, and look, I don't come in and like we got to fire somebody, but that's 4 games that are very, very important to Mexican soccer. This is you don't lose in the Azteca. Any other manager that does not get fired for losing in the Azteca,
I don't know.
Chepo
It's just Chepo was different thing. I think I don't know. I think that there's a sense for me just that like I can see, especially in recent months, I can see why people have questioned Tata and like there have been some serious concerns there, but I don't. I think at this point in the window, I think at this point in the window, it sounds ridiculous, but like you don't make a let's reevaluate things after it's too. We can't make a decision between Thursday to Sunday. When you like if Mexico loses the game and they still have an opportunity, and if they're about to lose opportunity,
I can see your point, but let me just give you this. Let me give you this scenario.
No,
we lose against the U.S. Hold on.
You think you go to Honduras this Sunday? I know what your schedule is.
We lose against the U.S., right? Do you really think that we could beat the other 2 teams by even after losing in the like he lost it? He couldn't get his team to win in the Azteca against the U.S.
I think if you make it, you got to make it after the window. You got to make it.
I'm worried that this coach could not take the players. And now the game against Honduras is extremely important. And yes, Honduras is not Honduras.
This is a Honduras. They're already eliminated. Honduras already eliminated.
Salvador
could be eliminated.
Wait. Let's not start that because Trinidad and Tobago was already eliminated.
All I'm saying is this. Now, let me paint this picture. Mexico loses against the U.S., and now we have another game at the Azteca, right? The second game is at the Azteca?
The last one. Yeah.
Sorry. Then we go to Honduras. Do we go to Honduras?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With pressure in Honduras, right, who will still play because it's against Mexico over there. Do you think that we can pull off a win? We need a win now away. Even Honduras is disqualified, but it's still Honduras in Honduras. I'm nervous that can't get that done.
I don't know. I want to hear
on Friday. You bring some other manager emergency that knows all the players that says, all right, we're going to do it. At least get a tie and then come back to the Azteca to beat El Salvador.
I want to hear what Amy has. I don't know. You and I have been going up, but like, I want to hear because I feel like that's too quick. I don't know.
Mexico has done crazier things. So we use that as the bar, right? We use that as the bar. They've gone through crazier things in terms of cycling out coaches in and out. Is it as bad as that? No. So by those standards, I would keep him for the window. I don't think it's drastic.
You guys aren't wrong. That's just what I would do. Just send a statement.
I think it's more. I think it's just. I could see where you're coming from, Wiso.
That's
I
a
100%.
great-
I think a lot of I think a lot of
Spanish.
fans see where you're coming from, but I think that just like it is more risky to try to bring in
The
a
other-
new manager within that short amount of time, to try to qualify for World Cup. I know Mexico don't need much more to qualify for the World Cup, but I think it's just so much more risky to unless if it's like, oh, guess what? Like Bielsa's interested. I'd be like, cool, yeah, bring him in, let's go. But that's not the truth.
So Mexico loses 7-0 in the Azteca. You're keeping.
Why
Tata for
would
the
we
next
lose
2 days.
7-0?
Wait, come on, you can't.
You giving me these hypotheticals.
Mexico loses
No,
40-0, and
I'm
every
just
player
telling you,
injures himself,
I'm bringing in,
and they all blame
hypotheticals too.
Tata.
I'm bringing in hypotheticals too.
Okay, but that's
Mexico loses 7-0 in the Azteca. Do you keep Tata?
No.
But that's not gonna
Okay.
happen.
That's
Okay,
why
then.
I asked that
Your
question
level-
earlier. I
your
said,
level
is there a mark? Is there like a bar?
Your level of shock is at 7-0. Mine is just 1-0. Like that's the difference.
No.
You will fire him.
Okay, good. So once again, so we all right. All
Yeah,
right.
you're like, okay, so if Tata punches a reporter in the face on Friday,
On Friday.
All right, wait. So what's the answer then? What's the answer then?
look, I know
Something that
I'm
we
being a
haven't-
little. I'll be really pissed. I wouldn't even watch the next 2 games. I'm just. I wouldn't. I feel like so angry.
That's because first of all, liar, because you're gonna be traveling, so you might not be able to watch the next 2 games.
It's true. Anyway, all right. We're not gonna lose against the U.S., so I don't know why we're doing all this. Tata's gonna stay.
It's probably gonna be a draw.
And then, but I would even if Tata loses and wins the next 2 and gets to the World Cup, we have perfect time to find Piojo. Yeah, Amy, you know how I said Piojo shouldn't come back? I would be like bring Piojo back in there, and yeah, Vasco Aguirre coming back.
So why can't Mexico get a win? Why can't we assume that? I feel like that's something we haven't talked about. It like what if Mexico gets the win here? Because guess what? It's looking. Bringing Landon Donovan for
Bringing
Tata.
Landon Donovan for Tata. Someone's really trolling me.
How is Loyal doing anyway? Are they even...
He's doing all right with Loyal. Yeah, he's doing all right. Yeah, been semi-impressed with him. Yeah.
All right.
Spanish is probably better.
Let's talk
than
about how
mine.
many
I think
points.
the only way that it works is if they press early, but it's not like our finishing has been quality stuff
Yeah.
recently.
We're not going to lose to the U.S. We might tie, but we're not going to lose. So,
What-
all right.
hope one.
Everything's out. Yep.
The next game, in Honduras. I mean, this is not where we're talking about how many points. So, did anybody make the math? Like, can we qualify if we beat the U.S.?
So
and
if
other things happen?
So once I got a final.
You remember when there used to be like the calculator comes out? I feel like Medio Tiempo is not coming out with that cool calculator anymore.
So
Or
yeah,
some
no,
viewers
right?
had like,
Do your homework.
I gotta.
no,
I gotta.
calm down. It's not about doing my homework, but like there were really cool like calculator simulators that people like, hey, put in people's scores and then you'll do that.
Yeah.
Or is there anybody on the chat that can send it to me in a Word doc, on an Excel spreadsheet?
So don't quote me on these numbers because I still need
No,
it.
this is why I want to quote you on these numbers, Cesar.
I need to go through them once again, but I'm like 90% sure about these. But if Mexico win, basically, so if Mexico win, but Panama defeat Honduras, and if Costa Rica defeat Canada, then nothing's guaranteed for them. Most of those other results, if Mexico win, then they're basically, for the most part, guaranteed a top 4. Now, what Wiso wants to hear is like, how is it top 3 guaranteed? So, if Mexico win, if Panama lose, because remember, if Mexico right now they're at 21 points. If Mexico win, they get 24 points. If Panama lose, I get that look from Wiso. If Panama lose, they're at 17 points, and then if Costa Rica get a draw or loss, then they're at 17 or 16 points. That means that Panama and Costa Rica wouldn't be able to make up that 6-point difference, and top 3 is guaranteed. So basically the way for Mexico to guarantee a spot in the World Cup is if they win, and if Panama lose, and then if Costa Rica get a draw or a loss. Any other situation, nothing is guaranteed.
So use the space filter.
I am. I'm looking for it. I'm literally looking for it right now. I'm trying to get there. I know it's somewhere in there.
Dude, you already made it. Can't you just
I know, but
your filter?
Oh yeah, huh? It is right there. It is right there. It's true. Hold on. No, it's it's right here. Oh wait. I got it. Yeah, right here. This is while Cesar is.
I'm trying to figure out how to calculate it.
I have like 8 other scenarios here too. But basically, root for Panama and Costa Rica not to do well.
Thank you, Wiso.
So can you repeat that? No. We just gotta win. We gotta win. If we win, if we get 4 points, we're in.
Yeah, basically, Mexico's got to win, and then just root for Panama and Costa Rica not to do well. Long story short, and then we'll talk at the end of that night to see, where we're exactly at.
I'm gonna be a little selfish. I want Canada to finally lose a game, right? So go Ticos. Hopefully they can win at home.
Even the Canadians,
and then
that's the true rivalry that came out of CONCACAF. This
call. And then they've been real quiet though. I don't know. Canadians been real quiet. They've been on my mentions lately. I don't know why.
If Canada lose to Costa Rica, and then if Panama lose to Honduras, but Mexico win, a top 3 wouldn't be guaranteed, but only a top 4 would be guaranteed for Mexico.
So yeah, okay. So finally, this is on my own personal. Canada finally gets a loss. Mexico wins, right? And the second one, I believe, I think it's who does Costa Rica play?
Costa Rica plays Canada.
Yeah, no, the second game.
They play against the U.S. too.
Yeah, they played against the last game though.
Yeah. Because
then Panama beats the U.S.
You said Costa Rica,
huh?
Costa Rica's second game.
U.S. still has to play Panama and Costa Rica, so they're
Salvador.
Okay. So I'm just saying, like, Mexico wins their first game, Costa Rica wins their first game, Panama beats the U.S. on their second game, and then Costa Rica beats the U.S. in their third game.
There's a lot going on here, Wiso. Just like me saying all those numbers, there's a lot going on. Is it my turn to play the Reading Rainbow song?
Anyways, all right, but cool, all right, let's talk about predictions. Like, who do you think? What's going to happen? Same 3: Canada, Mexico, U.S. make it through. Who's your 4th team that makes it through? Right, we're all saying Canada, Mexico, U.S. make it, right?
I don't know.
Really, you think?
No. I'm saying I was saying I don't know about the 4th.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa.
No, top three go through, and then
yeah. I mean, everyone, right? Is there anybody that on the chat that thinks that Canada, Mexico, and U.S. are not going to go through? Tell us. But who's your 4th?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be Costa Rica, just because Panama have to play the U.S. and Canada.
Panama gets easy 3 points first, right?
Yeah, but they still have to finish with the U.S. and Canada, though.
Who does Panama play third, Amy?
What Canada? Who does Canada play
third game? Yeah,
that's Panama.
It's Panama.
No, sorry, Panama. Who does Panama? Oh, so
that's Canada. That's Canada.
That's
Canada.
That's Canada. I'm gonna go ahead and eat a Cliff Bar because. All right, so Panama has it's Costa Rica then. Costa Rica gets the playoff.
Wouldn't it technically have to be Costa Rica to favor Mexico? Like, we have to say Costa Rica would be 4th.
I think the issue though is just that, like, so because Costa Rica, they play Canada first, then El Salvador, then the U.S. I think I'm more leaning towards them just because Panama have to finish with the U.S. and Canada. So it's tough. Yeah.
Canada, Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama. All right, man. If the U.S. doesn't make it to the World Cup,
there's no guarantees for them. There's no guarantee.
They lose the first game, right? Let's just say they're going to lose the first game, right? Then something happens in that Panama game where because Panama's going to want this World Cup. It's going to be a tough game. They're going to want that World Cup ticket. Panama wins or even gets a tie, and then the U.S. has to go to Costa Rica, who Costa Rica needs that win in order for in the World Cup.
Do you think somewhere
in Costa Rica,
somewhere out there's like an American Outlaw podcast, and just like, if Mexico loses to the United States, and then if they have issues away against Honduras, then they have to host El Salvador,
and then El Salvador, like it could be possible. Like, we were all in shock 4 years ago when the U.S. could not beat Trinidad, and we're like, wow. I mean, as much as we hate the U.S. team, rivalry aside, you kind of go like, wow, that happened.
I
Like if
think
it happens again,
I think
there's gonna be like 20,000 players that are gonna go to Europe in the next year. Like it's just they're
it's
that more mad.
it's gonna be it's just like things change very, very, very quickly in World Cup qualifying in CONCACAF, and it's gonna be very, very interesting to see what mental standpoint everybody is at after Thursday night's results, because there is still a lot of room for movement for the US and also for Mexico. Yeah.
All I know is that last it's gonna be great. This is what the last 4 years ago, watching those games unfold at the same time, just kind of like we're in already. So, but love the drama. So we'll see. As much as I would want the US not to make it, oh my gosh,
Don't say that yet. Like,
yeah, don't say that yet.
Spreading your back.
Also wasn't
but
it weird?
I can say whatever I want.
Also, wasn't it weird? I don't know. Like we could say that, but like there's a part of me that was like, not gonna lie, I was just like a little like anxious for them, like heartbroken. I was just like, oh man, it's like there's a rivalry here, but like, do I actually want this? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
There's two reasons. One, no, if they made like as a rival fan, no, screw it. Hopefully they don't make it. As I now know a lot of people that work in US soccer, and I've gotten to be friends with them, like it sucks. It sucks that they don't keep working. And it's only because of them.
Yeah.
Because it would crush them, just like it would crush me. But then as a fan from like, the
You're just saying
2001, I'm not over the fact that they beat us in a World Cup and I started crying. Like that is never going to go away. But I've gone into the media. I work with a lot of people that, wow, that
You're just saying, just in case they're listening.
It was just devastating. So, all right. Wow. Well, there we go. Mexico, US, Mexico, Honduras, Mexico, El Salvador. All the games are going to be interesting. So did we answer, Amy? Who's your fourth? I think Cesar and I have Costa Rica. Who's your fourth that goes through?
No, my follow-up question was, wouldn't we technically want Costa Rica to be the fourth in order for that to favor Mexico? So if that's the case, then I guess I would go Costa Rica too.
All right. So we're all picking Costa Rica. Did anybody else say anything different? Alex said Panama. Frank is saying... Wait, why is Frank saying Hector Herrera out for the USA game? I don't think it's right.
No, that's not. Yeah,
I don't think it's right. People have said it again. It's highly possible that Mex beats USA. Panama is hungry. They can beat USA. Is Panama and CR is also hungry. Never lost to USA and CR. So it's crazy if it happens that both Panama and CR can qualify. That would
I think a lot of stuff can happen though. That's just the theme of this window. The first game is just a lot of stuff can still happen, and getting those 3 points could be the difference between you looking much more likely to qualify for the World Cup or you really, really, really looking at a tricky situation here.
Yeah. All right. Prediction times. Mexico versus US. I'll go first. 2-0. We come back. Tata does wonders. He's a miracle man.
Just for the last.
No.
He's a miracle man.
I come back. I'm so happy with Tata. But if he loses, he's
Vamos, Tata.
Fired. If Tata can win 7-0, I'll tattoo, Tata. No, I'm kidding. That's not gonna happen. I say 2-0. I say 2-0, and then the whole Azteca starts yelling 2-0 just to be funny.
You have tattoos, Wiso?
Huh?
Do you have tattoos?
No. I can't think of anything that I would want for more than a year. I keep asking myself every 5 years, and I'm like, okay, in 5 years, if I like this tattoo, I'll have it. If Mexico is going to win the World Cup, I was going to get the crest. But since the crest changes, I don't ever want to have an old crest on my chest. So I don't think I'll ever get a tattoo. My mom told me that the hecho en Mexico on my back is muy naco. So
okay. Well, so the answer is no.
So no, I don't. Amy, do you have tattoos? Does anyone have tattoos in the Mexican soccer show?
But
no, my parents were pretty against that. So that's weird. Because but my wife, Kimberly, she has 80 tattoos, but I don't have a single tattoo.
Guys, if Mexico wins the World Cup, we all get tatted.
What's the tat that we get?
I don't know, but we get something tatted.
We get Keen. We could get Keen tattooed on us.
No.
Is it Tata? Is it just Tata's face somewhere?
Yeah, if we win the World Cup with Tata, Tata's face right here.
on her forehead.
On our tatas.
That's so dumb.
All right, somebody said we forget a tattoo. Mexico goes past the 5th game. No, el quinto partido. We made it. No. All right. So what's the prediction? I'm gonna go 2-0.
I'm going 1-1.
You're a tie, Cesar?
Yeah, I think U.S. could be super defensive, and then
Mexico 1-0.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with cool Mexican 408 or whatever his numbers were. I'm gonna go 1-0 Mexico.
I'm not saying this is what I want the score to be.
Mexico 2-1. Tony, let's go. Mexico 3-0. 1 goal for each loss. Dang it.
Wouldn't it have to be 4-0? Oh no, 3-0. You're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not saying the 1-1's what I want. I'm just saying that
No, it's fair. I'm not mad at you.
That'd be funny. Mexico wins 2-0 and fans gonna be yelling 2-0 like they did in November. Yeah. All right. So Cesar goes with a 1-1. Remember, Mexico tied in the Azteca 4 years ago with a Bradley goal.
Was that the Michael Bradley golazo? That broke my heart, man.
Carlos Vela.
That was a fantastic goal. Yeah.
Vela's goal.
Cesar is gonna be there.
Hopefully.
I'll be there. We'll try to do something outside the stadium, giving you guys all that's happening. So hopefully there's many of you that are going. I think somebody said that they're going. So if anybody's going,
yeah, say hi to us.
Yeah, say hi to us. 7-0 for Wiso. Let's do it. I'm down. All right. So got a surprise planned afterwards. So as long as we beat the US,
cool. Right.
so I'll let you know where I'll be going after. But yeah, here we go. Okay, now I'm hyped.
I'll tell you guys.
I started the podcast saying that I'm not like feeling it. Okay, now I'm feeling it. So
now I'm feeling a 1-1 draw. Now I don't feel it.
Yeah, that's a 1-1 draw. I just hope, please let's not go down 1-0. Like, do you remember that 2009? Like Mexico versus US in the Azteca, Charlie Davies scoring that 1-0.
Yeah, but we came back on that one.
Yeah, but that 1-0 is like, just can you imagine that happens?
But
now?
Mexico came back. It was
that was Efrain Juarez, greatest run in the history of Efrain Juarez.
Oh, so hopefully, what is it? I interviewed him about that assist. I'm gonna hopefully have an article out about that. But it was pretty cool. He said that was like that made his like.
Where's he at right now?
He's at New York City FC. He's the assistant coach.
Oh, that's right.
It's pretty great. So really quickly, I'm gonna like reveal some things about that article. Who knows what's gonna be in that article? But he was telling me he went on for. I had 4 questions for Efrain in that interview, and I asked him 1 question, and he went on for 40 minutes about that game and how important it was for him, and how it was like incredible for him. Just like there was like the day of the game, there was like helicopters that like zooming in on like the hotel where the team was at. How he was like impersonating a very tired Landon Donovan, who he's like run past for the assist for the game-winning goal. And then he was telling me that the way that he celebrated after that goal was that he was picked up by his parents outside of the Estadio Azteca. And then they went to his favorite steakhouse in Mexico City, where he said he felt like Cristiano Ronaldo after providing that assist. So yeah, Efrain. Yeah.
Nobody remembers Miguel Saba's goal. Like that was a good goal too.
It was a good goal, but it was Efrain who created that though. It was Efrain who created it. Yeah.
Was it who scored the other one? Was it Pardo?
It was Castro. I think it was Israel Castro. Yeah.
It was Israel Castro. That's right.
As a golazo for that one. Yeah.
You just see like the TV camera shaking because the Azteca was so loud that good vibes.
It's different now.
After that, 2014. I mean, 2018. Bradley.
That was Bradley with the 1-1, and then after that.
Oh my God! Why can't I remember the Azteca in 2013?
There was that the 0-0. That was a 0-0 where Omar Gonzalez.
0-0.
Where Omar Gonzalez was killing, and just like every cross, he was just like heading out everything.
0-0. Before that, 2009, we talked about it.
2000.
Before that, 2005.
That was a game winner from Borghetti, I think.
Man,
I think it was Borghetti.
All the qualifiers. Before that, 2001.
It was probably. I don't know.
That was
No.
that was the Aztecaso. That was the year of the Aztecaso against Costa Rica
Yeah, I don't remember the 2001
in
game.
in
against
2001.
US.
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah.
thanks everybody for joining us again. Somebody's talking about the Firma La Gio.
that was a World Cup qualifier.
That was yeah. Israel Castro's goal was nasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, USA has never won a qualifier match in the Azteca. No, Mexico's only lost 2 qualifier matches in the Azteca against Honduras and against Costa Rica in 2001 and Honduras in 2013. And both have cost managers jobs. You lose at the Azteca in the qualifier, you should be fired. It's in the contract.
Is it in the contract? Did you see
It
the
is.
contract, Lisa?
You initial and date it right there.
With blood. All right. All right. Amy, thanks again for joining us. Cesar and everybody on the chat. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we're on a podcast next Monday. Going, we did it. See who's not on there. We can talk about the game. Cesar and we try to do a space. Maybe we can still do a space. It kind of gets kind of crazy outside the Azteca with so many people going in, but we'll try to do that. But it should be fun. It should be fun. All right, guys. Bueno, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Mexico wins 2-0, 3-0, 7-0.
For who?
We'll see you guys. Hasta la próxima.